So this is going to be a super controversial, and this isn't going to be 100% because I've also met some really dope people, but we're going to dive into East and West Coast money, but the parents come from money, not the kids. Hey, Joey. So I have dated a guy that he was much older. His parents had some money, not like a significant amount, but a decent amount. And it's just, and also I had a friend whenever I was growing up that was like a babysitter kind of, and just like a family friend. Her parents came from money too. And this is very, basically, they don't understand the concept of earning your money. Or paying bills, I'll say that. Paying bills is a better way of saying this. Because they can, hold on to their, their parents. This is not for everybody, okay? Because there is some, rich parents that actually make their kids work, and I really appreciate that. But whenever you ask certain people, like those type of people that I just mentioned, will you always have stuff handed to you? They're gonna say no. You know why? Because they don't get every time they want it. And most of those kids are used to getting every time they want. We're also going to step back and talk about me, where I come from. I come from just your average, middle class people. Probably a little less than that because we live where we live. So, I do not come from money. I made my own money and I have to pay my own bills. I have lived with my parents, but I've never asked my parents to pay my bills. Okay? So we're gonna set that there. Whenever I lived with my parents, I did pay all my bills. I will say that though. And I have lived with my parents whenever I was in my 20s, so. But anyways. Whenever you come from an enormous amount of money, honestly, some of those guys and girls are actually really great people. So there are people that are out there that do come from money and they actually are raised correctly and to not be stuck up snobs. But even they'll even tell you like, oh, well, nowadays, these kids just do whatever the fuck they want. True. Also, East Coast money, West Coast money, 100% different. Overseas money, different. All those kids act different. The West Coast, they're going to be more of your new money type. Your East Coast is most, depending on when they had their money and how much money. If we're talking Hamptons, then probably they're going to come from old money. Manhattan is kind of, there's a lot of different monies in there. I had a friend that lives in Manhattan, and he is doesn't come from money. Actually, I have two friends that do that, and they're doing really well for themselves, and they're not stuck up snobs. They value, like, they hold standards, but there's a difference between standards and just being a snob. So yeah, basically the purpose of this is humble yourself. Just remember, like, going back to the other one, whenever I said, like, because they wanted me to quit the industry, I'm just like, well, I have bills to pay. I'm the only one that can afford my bills and my family. So, that's kind of how you have to look at it. And then they're like, well, you can just get a normal job. My normal job will not pay for my bills right now. So you know, you have to kind of take that into consideration. People just, and whenever I said I can't have my parents pay for everything, they kind of shut up because they're like, well, my parents don't pay for everything. I'm like, okay, you can think whatever the fuck you want to think, but guess what? I know. I can tell. So basically, I just be aware that everybody's situation financially is not yours. And also, if you don't come from money and then you start getting money, you know, one thing is I have been generous with, you know, pets. I definitely do help out with different rescues. You know, the more you give, the more you receive. What I don't understand with the law of attraction is why rich people, they, you know, they hold back on money, but also I think they give money in different ways. So that's why law of attraction does work for them. But then there's also other people that are just like really, really like, oh, if I like give you this, then I'm you know, gonna have a hard month or something. Whenever this person has millions and we're talking like $1,000, like something like that. Realistically, probably not. Maybe financially in their head because they have budgets, which that makes sense. So this is fully not to offend somebody, but this probably will offend people, so don't take it personal. It's just, please remember to stay humble.